You have done a really good job. You developed your speech extremely well. You have like an outline and you're ready to go give that speech. Let's now talk about the 4 delivery competencies, the 4 things that you do when you deliver or present a speech. The very first competency for delivering your speech relates to how you use words, how you use language and words. Three things to remember about language and words. Your language should be clear, vivid, and appropriate. Clear means the audience and absolutely all of the listeners really understand exactly what you're saying. Vivid means that while they're understanding it, your words get them excited and motivate them about what you're saying. But then, the third thing is appropriate. You don't want to use language in any way that would offend anyone in the audience. You want to sound respectful. By using language that is clear, vivid, and appropriate, one thing you do really well is you establish your credibility as a speaker. You make a clear statement to the audience about who you are and how you feel about them. We need then to think about the do's and the don'ts. You may be saying to yourself, how do I go about doing that? How do I remember to talk in a way that's clear, vivid, and appropriate? A good way is to go back to that outline and write out your introduction, your conclusion, and a transition between main points, using language that gets the audience a little bit excited. Then when you're actually presenting, you can look down at that, perhaps memorize it ahead of time even, and speak in a way. That's a big do. You want to speak in a way that is very exciting for the audience. What's a big don't? Don't offend anyone in the audience by using language that sounds biased, by using language that in any way communicates stereotypes to others. Avoid at all cost, if you will, Janice, any language that's potentially offensive. If the audience pays attention to that, they're not going to be paying attention to your message.
So, as I understand that as a student, I have created my speech about social media, and I'm talking about e-portfolios again to these college seniors. I need to use clear, vivid, and appropriate language. To me, the clear language sort of starts with terms that I need to define, that I need to better help the audience understand. So I would need to define terms such as e-portfolio or an artifact. What are those things? What do they mean? What do they look like for this particular audience? For a different audience, I would have maybe different terms that need to be defined. In any field or profession or discipline, that profession will likely have their own set of terminology, their own vocabulary that the audience you're talking to might not know what those terms mean. And your job as the speaker is to make sure they do. That's part of being clear and vivid. When you are using your transitions, as Sherry mentioned, and you've written out those for your speech, that's part of being clear and taking your audience with you on your speech so that you stay well organized on that journey as you walk through your material. Being appropriate is really important, and it is important that you maintain your credibility as a speaker and that you do not use any offensive language, that you balance your terms and your examples so that everyone in the audience is equally represented and equally included. Well, that takes us from language now. We want to move to another set of competencies that's closely linked to language, but it's how you use your voice. Competency 6 is about how we can use our voice and intonation to sound more credible and to really deliver an effective speech.